Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on Eaton AFDD solutions. We're just gonna give it a few minutes to let more people join, then we will start. Thank you. Perfect. For those who just joined us, welcome to our webinar with Eaton on AFDD solutions. In this webinar, we will recap on the requirements and discuss the solutions on offer in Eaton's products. My name is VM, the marketing coordinator, along with Jamie, the marketing manager at Rexel. Our guest speakers today from Eaton are Trystan Bevan and Tash Robson, who will be introducing themselves shortly. Please note that this is a recorded webinar and will be available to watch on demand on our Rexel website. At the end of this webinar, we will be running a survey, and those who will complete it will get rewarded with a £5 Craig's voucher, so tune in. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box, and we will answer them at the very end. Before passing to Trystan, we would like to share a poll on your screen, so if you could please feel free to vote yes or no. Thanks again for filling the poll. So now passing to Trystan and Tash.
Brilliant, thank you very much, and really appreciate, guys. Thank you for spending some time just to discover what Eaton's AFDD solutions are. Let me just set you the agenda, and I'll flick through if it wants to work today. So we'll talk about who is Eaton. We'll talk about some of the Eaton products and some of the market trends briefly, and then we'll dive into the Eaton AFDD solution and some of the new distribution boards that we've brought to the marketplace. Just to give you a bit of an introduction of who I am, my name is Trystan Bevan. I'm the UK Field Product Marketing Manager for the power distribution products in the UK. I've been with the business now in 14 years in numerous roles across sales and marketing. And I'd also like to introduce you to my colleague.
Hi guys, my name's Tash Robson. I've been with Eaton just over a year now, and I work, I'm an inside sales engineer within the EWS channel supporting Rexel. So I'm just going to take you guys through our company overview, who we are and what we do, and what we are currently doing globally and locally. What we really like to emphasise at Eaton is we make what matters work within the electrical grid. Power is such a fundamental part of our world today, and people depend on technology, transportation, energy and infrastructure to live, work and thrive. And all the companies who provide these products and services depend on us to help solve some of the toughest power management challenges. And because of this, we never lose sight of what matters. And what matters is that we reinforce the importance we place on our deepening impact on the world as the need for power continues to grow. And this is why our promise is to make what matters work. As you can see here are our headquarters and key locations. To the right, you can see our 21 financials. And then, as you can see here, we've got approximately over 99,000 employees. Eaton is a truly global company. We do business in more than 175 countries. Our global manufacturing capabilities enable us to move quickly on urgent needs or increasing demand. And then our local Eaton services and support teams provide the swift response you guys need to maximize your productivity and uptime. Now, as you can see here, these are the industries we work with. We help leading companies across critical markets gain a competitive advantage by managing power more efficiently, effectively, and sustainably. When we reduce power usage, we cut operating costs while creating a more sustainable ecosystem. And then when we increase efficiency, we help customers increase profitability. In commercial and residential buildings, industrial machinery, heavy equipment, aircraft, data centers, just to name a few, Eaton products and solutions help our global customers do more with less. And our businesses are ready to provide you with the right solutions to meet your power management challenges. Now, you can see here what's happening in Eaton in the UK. We've got 25 sites across the country. We've got over 2,500 employees, wide range of diversity nationalities. You can see here the positive impact we're having on the local communities as well. And supporting our communities is more than an aspirational goal for many Eaton employees. In fact, thousands of employees around the globe volunteer annually to help enhance access to healthcare and education and improve quality of life in their communities and beyond. Since 1993, we've honoured the best among us with the Stover Volunteerism Award, named after our former chairman, Jim Stover, who tirelessly supported many causes both during and after his career at Eaton. So that was an overview of Eaton, and I am now going to pass you back to Trystan.
Brilliant, thank you, Tash. Really appreciate that. The energy transition is well underway. What do you need your electrical infrastructure to do? Chances are it's a lot more than what it used to. Simply getting power safely delivered from the grid to your home operations and building loads is not enough anymore. In the next 15 years, half of the world's electricity will come from new renewable sources. This means that more and more distributed energy resources will be online, and more homes, businesses, and communities will be able to produce and sell energy and consume it. The energy transition is changing how power needs to be managed and optimized for homes at a facility level and for utilities. What's driving the needs for everything as a grid environment are two fundamental trends that we're seeing that are affecting the energy status quo. Electricity demand is trending up after more recent flat periods in developed economies. And a centralized electricity supply is no longer the only reality. Increased electricity demand is being driven by how buildings, transportation, and data are powered. By 2050, analysts expect a 50% increase in the share of energy provided by electricity to buildings. Transportation electrification is expected to increase global electricity demand by at least 27% in the next 3 decades. At the same time, the old model of centralized electrical supply is just that, old. Distributed energy sources such as solar installations and energy storage are increasing. The installed base of energy storage is expected to increase 13 times, and that's by 2035. Behind the meter asset creating a more dynamic grid with two-way power flows and potential for many different entities to produce, consume, and sell electricity. What does this all mean? Well, the energy transition is changing how we use electrical power and how electrical infrastructure is changing to enable this new reality. Multiple parts of the system need to be connected and dramatically controlled to ensure safety, resilience, and cyber security. We dedicated to manufacturing excellence and bear with me. We're dedicated to manufacturing excellence and to provide innovative solutions to make our customers more successful on a broad array of products and services, protecting people and assets, both physically and digitally, while improving productivity and efficiency. The health of the entire power system is critical, and we must ensure that all parts work together, from the incoming utility feed to the devices or equipment that is consuming the power and everything in between, safely. We also help customers meet stringent codes and regulation requirements, and part of the reason we're talking about AFDD today is the regulatory environment and how that's changing. We do more than just distribute power. We provide clean, safe, and reliable power for critical applications and all uses. Eaton's market-leading power distribution and circuit breaker portfolio are now augmented by industry-leading Bussmann series portfolio and Cooper Power series portfolio. Today, only Eaton can offer a full suite of reliable and efficient circuit protection products, both circuit protection and fuses, enabling us to work with customers to choose the right technology for their application. And Eaton offers an end-to-end solution from transformers to network protection to switchgear that enables more reliable, efficient generation, transmission, and distribution of power from the utilities to end buildings. I'm going to just cover off very briefly here the whole portfolio of products that we cover. We do a range of MCBs, RCBOs, and RCCBs, and those are commercial and residential products, and we also do surge protection devices. We also offer our MCCB range, and we've brought out some digital NZMs very recently now for Industry 4.0 when we talk about that connectivity piece, which is becoming more and more important. You're probably very familiar with our Glasgow range of industrial fuse switch disconnectors and switch disconnectors, and the Rexel range, which have been around in the market for over 50 years. And then what we're here to talk about is some of our distributed boards with the MEM3 and what we've brought into the market to accommodate our AFDDs. But also we do a range of panel boards and low voltage switchgear as well. Before I talk about our products in depth, I just wanted to cover off very briefly, and if you haven't, there is a webinar available from Rexel that we did a couple of months ago on dispelling myths, which talks a little bit more in depth about the regulatory environment that is driving the changes that we're seeing today. A number of things have happened over the last 10 years, things like the Grenfell Tower inquiry, but also other regulatory studies and analysis on building safety and building a safer future in regulations for fire safety are being brought forward, and this is changing the way that we think about fire safety in buildings. Arc faults are part of that, and to reduce risk of fires in higher risk buildings, this is why the AFDD is part of that solution. AFDD is an additional protection and complements the standards already in place. This isn't to replace, but to sit on top of and enhance the protections already offered from things like RCBOs, MCBs, and the installation of live parts and basic protections. Most common causes of arc faults. It's quite frequent. Arc faults are caused things like crushed wires, damaged insulation, age of insulation materials, broken cables or interruption in wiring. Pets and rodents are a common cause for arcing. Loose contacts and connections, and bent plugs and wires, and mechanical overstraint. These are all the risk potentials that could cause an arc. And as I said, the AFDD offers that greater level of fire protection and also a layer of protection that isn't offered by any of the other devices. An MCB, an RCCB, or an RCBO will not identify an arc fault, and that's where the advantage in AFDD Plus is. BS 7671 Amendment 2 now has brought in the requirement in certain applications to have AFDDs. These applications include things like high-risk residential buildings. These are generally categorized by buildings over 18 meters. Also houses with multiple occupancy, student accommodation, and this also can include things like boarding schools as well, and care homes. But it's still recommended for all other premises. You do have to consider that all other premises, some of the suggested applications for those can be buildings where you're storing flammable materials like barns or woodworking shops, stores, or any other highly combustible materials. Also, if the building's constructed of combustible materials like wood, again, consideration should be here used for AFDDs. And locations where you've got objects such as museums or libraries that are irreplaceable, the higher risk or higher value. Now let's talk briefly about our AFDD solution. So we've had Eaton's AFDD has now been on the market for a number of years, offering a digital all-in-one solution. It provides you with the benefits of the MCB with additional RCD protection combined with digital arc fault detection. This device enables you to easily identify faults through its LED indicator and provides you that complete protection when it comes to that additional fire detection. How it works is by using enabled processing and smart evaluation of current signals. Eaton's AFDD provides sensitive detection of arc fault of fault current combined with avoidance of nuisance tripping, and has been designed so that the products like power line adapters, which are commonplace these days, don't mask a potential arc fault. How it works and how it gives you indication are important, especially for when it comes to fault finding. So our AFDD simply provides LED indication of types of arc fault, series or parallel, but trip a device to aid in that fault finding. It will also indicate whether it was an MCB tripped or an RCBO tripped via the tripping indicators located below the 2-pole toggle. And it provides easy indication of the status of the tripping fault through the LED indication on there, enabling simple use and simple fault finding when needed. When deciding which device to use, consideration needs to be taken on a number of aspects. One is size. These are 2-pole 3 mod devices. Size of board, braking capacity and configuration need to be taken into consideration, just to name a few. Eaton's AFDD offers a range of devices up to 40 amps, a 10 kA rating up to 25 amp, and a 6 kA rating up to 40 amps in trip types B and C, suitable for many applications. As we see multi-use buildings in commercial building space now grow, it's no longer as simple as just having an office block, but many buildings now are mixed use with retail space below, commercial offices in the middle, and residential spaces all in a multi-story building. And part of the reason why we've produced the AFDD distribution board range is to enable you for these kind of applications. Memshield 3 has for a number of years developed to cater for every evolving power need. Standard type A boards are used for single phase supply in these commercial buildings, and those cover up to 125 amp. Our standard type B boards, 3-phase, rated up to 250 amp, have up to 24 outgoing ways. We're seeing much higher demand now for high-low boards, giving up to 125 amp subload supply, with air source heat pumps and EV demanding more and more from our power distribution. Memshield 3 provides a flexibility needed in these power distribution to cater for everything in the changing applications of these kind of buildings, on top of things like cost saving, space saving, and the ability to retrofit. This brings us nicely on to some of our new products that we've developed in our commercial offering, designed specifically with our AFDD at the heart of them, taking the requirements made from BS 7671 Amendment 2 for protections in single-phase AC sockets with ratings not exceeding 32 amps. These new Type A distribution boards are ideal for things like high-risk residential, houses of multiple occupancy, purpose-built student accommodation and care homes. And as we talked about earlier, where you've got applications which, although recommended, the risk assessment is normally carried out on, and allow you to apply to those as well. We've designed these units to optimize the design for a stackable option. So these are able to be top mounted on Memshield 3 range of both Type B boards and Type A boards. And these are hybrid boards and great addition to the range to enable AFDDs to be fitted as part of the solution. Also, there's an added advantage. In the range of 2 MID metered boards. There's an option for a single metered option, which is up to 125 amps, or you've got a split metered board with 2 channels, 100 amps per channel, up to a maximum total load of 125 amps. And these will enable you to mix both MCB, RCBOs and AFDDs to be fitted depending on the applications required. Again, with that mentality of having a flexible solution when it comes to the ever-changing needs of a building. Also, with the advantage of being able to be fitted in one of the ways, a surge protection device, should it be required to be CT1, fitted after the RCD. We also have within the range, which you can also use here, is the addition of a surge protection device which can be fitted before the RCD, and that will give you common mode and differential mode when it comes to surge protection. Just to summarize that, to give you a bit more depth in the overview, these AFDD boards will enable you to fit our standard 2-pole 3-mod AFDDs in the enclosure. The standard AFDD Type A board allows for 5 ways. Then we have a hybrid board enabling 2 AFDDs with up to 9 MCB and RCBOs. We also offer the metered hybrid board. This will allow you for 2 AFDDs and 6 MCB or RCBOs, or a split metered solution, offering you an AFDD and 6 and 3 MCB RCBO devices. These are MID fitted meters, and they're all pre-fitted with incoming switches and stackable on both the Type A and B boards. As the type of buildings and applications may require greater numbers than provided by that Type A board, we also now bring to the market 2 new extension boards to also complement the range and enable the addition of AFDDs. These top-mounted boards for the Memshield 3-phase boards, or EBM coded boards, are available in both 6 and 12-way extensions, enabling AFDDs to be included as part of the design when considering the standards, and ideal for locations like risers. It's worth mentioning also that we do have 3 standalone 125 amp boards in a 14, 24 and 36 way if required on site. The whole purpose of bringing in these boards is to enable you that flexibility when it comes to those large multi-story buildings with multi applications. These extension boards come kitted with busbar connections to the existing Type B boards. They're top mounted and rated at 250 amps, but also stackable one upon the other. You'll see there that it comes with a new shroud to replace the existing shroud that's on the Type B board, and the busbar connection kit for it. It's important to note that these changes have been made to the busbar on all of our Type B boards to enable the connection to these new extension boards. This implementation happened this year, and we started supplying back in August 2022 all of our Type B boards with the new adaptation to their buzz bar arrangement. They have all been labelled to say there's an extended buzz bar to them to easily identify them. But to give you an example, if you've already got a 2019 commercial 3-phase board, this would not be compatible with these new extension boards. And it's just worth pointing that out, and we're trying to make that as clear as possible. But if you've got any queries, please go to your local Rexel or come to us, and we'll be able to assist you. These units, as I said, are top mounted. They are stackable. They come in, they're in the Type B variant of the Memshield final distribution boards, high load boards, and the split load power and lighting boards, and come in a 6 and 12 way. They're optimized for 125 and 250 amp TPN applications, and enabling you to use our 2-pole 3-mod AFDD devices for those applications when it comes to BS 7671 Amendment 2. To summarize that, these Type B extension boards provide 6 and 12-way options. They're using our AFDD 2-pole and 3-mod devices. They are stackable one on top of the other if you wanted to, on top of the EMB boards from Eaton's Memshield 3 final distribution range. The enclosure degree of protection is IP40X when wall mounted, and the buzz bar on the extension is up to 250 amp rated. This should provide you with a range of solutions when you're looking at AFDDs in a building when you have the requirements to meet BS 7671 Amendment 2. I appreciate I've gone through a lot of stuff there, and there's lots of details available online at eaton.com. Before I ask to pass you on to some questions, I'm just going to pass you quickly on to Tash to go through something, and then we'll go to questions.
Thank you, Trystan. So we do a monthly webinar, and we would like to, carry on improving our topics, content, and presentation. We have created a survey, which was mentioned at the beginning, and we will be sending you this after the webinar. We'd like to invite you to fill this in and help us with your feedback. And everyone on this webinar that completes the survey will win a £5 Greggs voucher. T's and C's apply, and you can see your email for details. And I'll be passing you back to Trystan.
Wonderful, guys. I think I hope the survey gets sent to myself as well, because I would definitely welcome the Greggs voucher for that. So all I will say is that if you go to eaton.com, we have published a guide and white paper on BS 7671 Amendment 2. There's also huge amounts of information on our AFDD products, some of the risks around not using them, and lots of great content there for you if you're unsure about anything that we've talked about today, whether it comes from the Memshield 3 range or any of the products that have piqued your interest. So please head over to there, or obviously go onto Rexel's website as well, where lots of great information and content is available. Now I'm going to ask for any questions.
Thanks, Trystan. Thanks, Tash. If anyone has any questions, there's a question box you should be able to see. Feel free to type any questions in there. We'll just give it a minute or two for anyone that does want to ask questions, and then we'll answer as many as we can before we end this webinar today. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions. Obviously, if anyone does have any questions after, if anyone thinks of anything, so feel free to reach out to us, and I'll hand over back to Ian now.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. I think we have one question that just popped up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dale asked, do Eaton intend to manufacture a single mod AFDD?
So the answer to that is there is plans afoot and in development. Obviously, there is a testing process that's quite rigorous to go around that, and so what we're trying to do is provide a solution now with the distribution boards for the commercial, and we will be looking at that later. And obviously, I'm sure we'll be able to do some updates when we do that.
Excellent. Thanks for your question, Dale. William?
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. As we mentioned, after this webinar, you should be able to receive the survey that we mentioned, and you will get it also by email. We will also provide you the TNCs by email, so feel free to pop them in. The survey must be completed by midnight on the 28th of October, and only one voucher will be issued per attendee. So you should be receiving your reward within 7 business days from the 28th of October. TNCs for this reward will be sent to you by email, as I mentioned. So thank you so much for tuning in, and looking forward to having you in another webinar.